Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my co-host, Ron. How are you today, Ron?
I'm fabulous. How are you, Chantele?
I'm fabulous as well. I'm having a very great Sunday. Yeah, it's been a good day so far.
Yeah, it's sunny, but it's cold and windy here. It seems like winter just decided to make another drop by, but
I saw flurries today.
yeah, let's get past it.
Like, why are you doing flurries on a Sunday in March? I mean, I know it's
Next.
possible. I know that April we could still get snow. I remember that we talked about it last week, I think, but we had snow in May one year. It's
Yeah.
possible, but I hope today is the last day because I'm just like so looking forward to the restrictions being lifted a little bit.
I know.
Like having a normal summer. My friend has a boat, and like before the pandemic, we used to go out on the boat all the time, and then like it was all shut down. So like we're doing you're taking a writing course right now. We're going to be doing some writing course, like our own like little writing incubator or whatnot on the boat. So we're gonna do like every Tuesday we go out on the boat and we do our writing. Yeah.
That's a fun spot to go do some writing. That sounds exciting for you. That'll be an exciting time. Yes, we need the restrictions. Yes, to lessen a little. Hope people are still being safe, regardless of what it is they need to do. But that is something to really look forward to. I'm excited for you.
Whoa, hold on. We have someone here. Hi, Joshua. I used to live in Eastern Washington and we got snow twice in June. I don't know if we've ever got snow in June. I don't think so. June?
No. My birthday's in June, so I try to make sure that it's nice hot weather for everyone else to enjoy.
Absolutely. And when I lived in Montreal, I remember the first week of June was always Grand Prix. And so, and it was always hot. Like you knew it was the beginning of summer because like everybody was wearing their little outfits. It was Grand Prix.
Yeah.
No, street sale or Grand Prix, one of the two. Anyways, no matter what, the streets were closed. Like it was summertime and all the patios were open. So
that's
I don't
exciting.
remember ever having June have snow. My goodness.
Yeah, let's hope not. Let's hope not. But poor Joshua. Joshua needs to go to the Australian outback for some of that heat they're having down there.
Seriously. Wow. So if you guys haven't done so already, please do us a favor here and subscribe to Reality Realness and be part of the fam so you can talk about these fun reality shows with us on a regular basis. So today, as you probably know, we're going to be talking about Australian Survivor episode 19 and 20. Is that where we're at? Holy cow. We've watched a lot of the show.
Long time coming. It's almost as long. Well, it's longer than a series of Drag Race at this point, which is still good to see. But at least there's still things happening.
True. I mean, I enjoyed Drag Race yesterday or this weekend.
I will say that I did like the Rusical. I like the theme of the Rusical. Sorry for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, but it was a really fun episode, and I was very happy with the outcome.
I can't believe that, like, I have, like, a crush on Lady Camden now.
I know!
Since her lip sync, when she did, like, the really good one to On Vogue, I was like, oh, Lady Camden.
I know.
And so
she's got talent.
Now I'm a super fan of Lady. I wasn't the biggest fan of her the first episode, and then she's really, really growing on me, and I think she might be my favorite right now, even though I love Little Willow.
So adorable. But I'm with you. I'm the same way. I wasn't a huge fan at the beginning. She's grown on me. She's quirky. She looks like olive oil in her confessionals. I absolutely love her. She's doing a great job. So I'm rooting for Lady Camden to bring it home.
Lady Camden, absolutely. Now, speaking of long times in episodes, we're on day 37. So how many episodes or how many days is it again for Australian Survivor?
We are doing 47 days. Almost it's 47 seasons. We're doing 47 days in the Australian outback this time.
Okay, so after these two episodes, you remember what day we leave on?
We leave on day 41. Day 41 starts off the newest episode.
So coming
next week.
And you said 47, so that means there'd be 3 episodes potentially left, wouldn't you think?
I would think
Or maybe
maybe.
4, just like an extended second, like a last one.
Yeah, they'll do their long walks through the forest, their dramatic pauses, their if it's all boys, maybe they're getting out of the water slowly and flicking their hair back. They'll do something fun to make it worth our while. Drag it out.
So drag it out. So we can expect then probably 4 more episodes. Is that what we think?
I'm anticipating 4 more episodes. Yes.
Okay.
So hopefully, I mean, I don't ever want to see it end, but it has to come to an end at some point. And we are getting down to the very nitty-gritty of it.
I do want to see it end because after this duo of episodes, I was like, okay, just put me down. Like I've been rooting too hard for things to happen that haven't been going the way that I wanted it to. That like it's been exhausting in a way that I just want it to be done. Like it's just every single week, like Nina and Sandra, and you're just like, like, oh my God, this person's out and this happens and this, like, I want just to know who wins now.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually get like this towards the end of a season, especially Big Brother. Like as much as I love Big Brother, 3 months is a long time to watch a show like that, especially when it's on as often as it is. But I usually get to about the final 7 and I'm like, okay, I just need to know who wins now. I don't even care who's on the jury at this point. I just want to know who wins because that's all that really matters to me. Because sometimes there seems to be an end in sight for specific people. And especially in Australian Survivor, we have a lot of them who have winner edits.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, we could probably cut a few people out and just like slide our way into the very end of this game.
Please? Like it's like, sorry, KJ, we know it ain't gonna be you. I'm sorry. We
I know
that. We know, Christy, I love you, but we know it's not gonna be you. Ugh.
And if she's
Shay,
not delivering, if Chrissy's not delivering her one-liners and making me giggle every episode, then there's no point in having it anymore. So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, she does start off this episode talking about how you lie, you cheat, you deceive them, and then they come back and she's actually experiencing what we're experiencing. It's like, oh my God, we just want people to leave this game. Like they have to come back. And especially if you work so hard to try to get people out and then they just like, oop, twisty-roo, they're all back in here. And I would be so frustrated as a player just because I know you're supposed to be pretty aware of everything that's going on and kind of make contingency plans depending on what could happen. But like, do you really think that the 3 people that you just evicted in a row, none of that was going to be for anything?
Yeah, you'd be sitting there unwise thinking that was a restart of anything. Like there's 6 people and there's 3 coming back and they all wanted you out. And she said it perfectly. Like you lie, you cheat, you deceive just to get them out of there and then they come back. It would be easy enough to say, let's just knock those people out again because we're 6, they're 3. So, but as somebody who would like to see some of the underdogs fight and get a second chance, it can be a bit exciting, but if it would have to be a very specific group. This group of 3 coming back in, like I don't see KJ winning. I don't see Shay winning. If I'm rooting for any of them, it's Jordy. And again, week after week, we kept saying how annoying Jordy is. He's still annoying, but he's at least playing and he's fighting, which is nice to see.
Absolutely. I'm totally agreeing with you there. And the fact that Jordy's still coming for revenge with Sam. Like, I get it. Sam got you out. I get it. Sam took your brother's idol. Like, I get it. But I guess this storyline to me is boring. Like, I just like, okay, like, can we shake it up? Like, if you want to stay in the game, can you do something else other than like, I'm coming for Sammy. I'm coming for Sammy. I'm coming for Sammy. I'm coming like other people were involved in this. Other people know about this. Why aren't you coming for Mark? Mark has kept this secret. And you and Mark were boys and you guys were onto the teams together for the entire game. So why is it all about Sammy? It's just very irritating how he's so tunnel vision on Sammy. And I get that what she did, but I'm really over with like how much focus he's putting on her.
Yeah, if you're going to be focused on one person, that's going to just allow everybody else to be able to play the game around you too. You're
Mm-hmm.
not, you need to be looking at everybody. And I agree. Mark knows, Sam knows, those are the two targets you should be going after. Yes, you're going to keep playing that. They have two idols, but nobody believes you. So now you have to try and figure out another way
Please.
to get them on your side. And some of them are starting to catch wind, but it's a like, okay, yeah, we've seen this B-roll before. Like, let's
They probably used it from like the last 10 episodes. Like,
yeah, exactly.
so we see Jordy and hugging Chrissy, and Chrissy's like, oh, take temporary visitor. And I'm like, that's funny. That's funny, Chrissy.
Yeah.
I would love it to be a little bit of a revolving door with Mr. Jordy there. So Jordy plans to create chaos, which we know that's what he's going to be doing. And he's hoping that Josh and Jordan and Chrissy will join him and the other two people from Purgatory to create a new majority, which like, okay, I get that you're trying to make fractures and like get a common enemy within the people with all this power. I totally get that tactic.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish it wasn't coming from Jordy. He just drives me crazy. Like,
I know. I kind of wish that it was coming from like KJ or Shay, especially Shay,
yeah.
who's been out there for so long and had time to maybe think of a strategy. It just goes to show how much Shay was not involved in pretty much anything going on. And it sucks to see that she's just going to come back and try and win challenges in order to go like, what strategic input are you putting into the game? Because you need to do something. You need to change your game in order for people to want to keep you around too.
Mm-hmm. To show that you have value, that you're not just like,
Mm-hmm.
a number and just like you don't really influence any or have any input. Like it's just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shay, for her being the fan, I believe out of her and Ben, I'm disappointed. When I
Yeah.
see fans, I want fans to play, and I would love for this to have been the moment for Sam to like make this game her own and go and start her own winners
For
at it.
sure.
That'd have been really
Yeah.
cool to be like, I've been waiting for this opportunity and like go and like change the fate of the game. So
Yep.
disappointed there, but Jordy's the only person really wanting to make any changes. He's pretending that he wants to work with Sam, but really his intention is to try to make Sam paranoid. And it's like, okay, like fine. It's easy to make Sam paranoid. Can you just
Yep.
try something else, please?
Yeah.
Sam does talk to Mark that she knows that Jordy's going to be trying to make her paranoid and that Jordy's not really on her side. So at least she's not being fooled by him at all. But I mean, I wouldn't imagine that she really would be because he's quite transparent, I would say.
And again, it's a singular storyline that they're all following, and it's been the same for the last few rounds since Jesse got voted out. And yeah, it's going to creep up again. You're going to have that short-sighted tunnel vision look at the game because you're getting back into it because you just had like 3 or 4 days to sit and stew. And obviously he took it very personally because it's his brother. I get that. But like, okay, great. We could probably just skip ahead straight to the reward challenge or something instead, right? Everybody, like, we know who the targets are. There's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
9 of you left. Nobody's going after Juicy Dave. Let's just go.
Yes, and it's like when these episodes are still like an hour 20, you're just like,
Yeah,
why?
I
What's
know.
left? It doesn't need to be this long. But we do get a Survivor auction, which
Yay!
I've always loved the auction. Do you
Yeah.
have any understanding or knowing why they stopped doing it on US Survivor?
Yeah, so I read an interview that Jeff Probst did once, and they stopped because the castaways were not bidding on those things they thought they wanted, like food or letters from home. The whole season 30 with everybody bidding like $20 for a letter. Nobody was going to screw each other over. We were all going to get our letter. Like Shirin strategically made it. But Mike was thinking he wanted an advantage and he knew one was coming up. And then he did the whole backing out thing. they realized that they basically were just doing this auction and it was wasting time, money, and resources. And so everybody just wanted the advantages, which is why they focus on the advantages. But I'm like, well, then just don't offer the advantages. Do it for
Absolutely.
food. And even just say to them, listen, you're doing this for everything except for
Yeah, there's
advantages.
no advantage. There's
I
no
love the
hidden.
auctions.
I loved them. I was
I
always
love
like,
yeah.
it's I think the auction was like my favorite. Like, it was like, oh my god, yay! Like, it's super excited, like,
Hmm.
element of Survivor that didn't happen all the time, but when it did, it was
Yep.
always exciting. And so when they
Yep.
stopped doing that, I was like,
So
but
when I was a camp counselor or a camp programmer many moons ago, we had a Survivor week, obviously, and the kids were really excited about it. And one of the things we did on the Friday of that week was we had the older group of kids. They got to do an auction, but throughout the week they had to earn like
some
money.
bucks, yeah.
And so if they helped pick up after the little kids, if they, you know, cleaned up after lunch, if they finished this activity or something, they got some money. And there was even little like Easter eggs hidden around so that if they found money, they got extra money or whatnot. And we were giving them the chance to get some like cool rewards, whatever kids liked in the year 2007 or something like that. And it was so funny because we're doing this auction and it was like Monopoly money. So it's $5 a bid. And one kid was like, they were fighting over the scooter that they could just scoot around the parking lot with, pretty much. Like, it was nothing. But it was like on Survivor when they're competing for like a plate of cheese and crackers. They kept trying to outbid each other, but the maximum they each would have had was $50. Well, one kid we found out was like stealing money from other kids.
Oh
And I was like,
no.
oh no, I didn't put this in the rules. But it was like, okay, well, you can do it, but you have to share with them and you guys can combine it. And they got to do it. They got the silliest things, like a pack of crayons and all these things. But people will do anything when it's like kind of oh, I could get this without having to do too much. It's
Absolutely,
like,
it's
yeah.
fun. Like, you want to bid things and you want to win. It's just like, I want to go to a real auction with a paddle. I went once with an uncle of mine to, like, where they do cars that like have been maybe had a crash or something, but like people will
Hmm.
buy them up and so fix them up or whatever. And so I went once, and it was pretty exhilarating, just like, with people with their paddles, like 1,000, and they're like,
Yeah. Oh, it's so
sold.
fun.
So
Ooh,
I
a sandwich at the auction. Oh, I'm excited.
So yes, I agree with you. I love the auction. I wish that they could figure out a way to do the auction still that doesn't make people just keep their money at the end for an advantage, or do the
Yeah.
advantage first to get it out of the way.
Yeah. And they've done that. They've done it where it's like, okay, here's a secret one, or here's a little roll of paper, and then focus on the rest. I liked how they did it in this auction with the
Mhm.
secret advantage. It was something you just won if you got the right reward. And it could have been any one of them. So, one person got a secret advantage just by bidding on a cup of tea. And you wouldn't
Mhm.
think like that would be anything. And people would probably be like, I don't need that. But KJ lucked out. She got that because she bid on the right item. And that's what
Absolutely.
the auction, a lot of it is. It's just luck.
Totally luck, and knowing when to take the hidden prize or not. So the people that won, I think everybody won something, but Chrissy for $100 got a pie. For $500 there was a chicken parm with crisps and
Mm-hmm.
beer that Jordan won. $500 was a burger with the works for Dave. Josh and Dave both were going to be bidding, and then I think Josh pulled out, so
Yeah.
Dave ended up winning that. $500 for a covered item that Sam bids. Makes Mark bid on,
Yeah.
and that was so Jordy also bid on that one, and they went up and they had to do a rock draw, but which I thought that was really interesting that they did, and I was like, savage. So Jordy basically paid $500 to be in a rock draw with Mark,
Yep.
but Mark was the one that won that particular prize, and Jordy lost his money. He's like, it's a $500 rock. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Ouch, you don't get your money back? Wow.
Yeah, and they did that in previous ones in the Worlds Apart one season 30 when it was time for the advantage. They all put in their $480 and you were buying a chance to win whatever it was. So those rules changed over time, and it makes sense because you're only going to one person is going to get the $500 and you can't outbid $500, but you can match it, and if you're willing to risk it, you might as well try. So it makes it, if imagine that at a real auction, like you're matching it and all of a sudden you're trying to buy this, like we bought a table we have in our house at an auction, and if it came down to a tie bid and we were like having to draw rocks for it, I would have been pissed if I lost, but it would have been really thrilling anyways.
Pissed, and it had to be Jordy, and I was like, oh, he's trying so hard to win an advantage, and like,
yeah,
he just didn't. So what did Mark win in the end?
Was it a steak dinner?
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then I didn't write down who won this, but for $300, it was a whole pizza and red wine.
Shay.
Okay. And then, so the next covered one was for $500. So Sam decides to bid on this one, and it's Vegemite and toast. Brutal. Like $500. I mean, I don't mind Vegemite or Marmite. Both of them are like, I like the saltiness, but like $500 for that, like
somebody's got to get the dud prize.
And it had to be Sam. Poor Sam.
Had to be Sam.
So then the next one is covered, and it ends up being the tea that you mentioned that KJ ends up winning. And there was a clue on the bottom. Like, so she took a sip of the tea and she got to see that there was a clue. She stuck it into her shorts without seemingly letting anybody else see it, which was impressive. And then lastly, Shay uses her last $200 to receive a letter from her family, but you knew and I knew that Shay was not going to take her letter. She was going to give the letters to everybody else. So there's no surprise or tension there. 100%.
No. And I get the tears behind it. Like, you're upset because you're not going to get yours. But what else are you going to do in that situation? Like, kind of wish it was you can do a bigger dilemma. You can get your own, or you can pick like 3 people to get it. Yeah. And in which case it would make it more of a dilemma. Like, you can satisfy yourself, you can satisfy 3 people, but you'll piss off 6 or 5 others. Like, who do you want to piss off? 8 or 6? Like, that's more than anyone else. Because I would want a letter, but if it was between having to choose taking it myself or giving it to someone else, you're going to give it up. Like, no problem.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not as sentimental as you are, but like, I'd be like, you guys getting your letters, absolutely. Like, sorry, Mom, but like, I'll talk to you in 10 days. Like,
exactly.
I mean, I don't know how I actually will react when I'm in that kind of moment, but as far as I know with myself, like, I would give the letters to everybody else.
Yeah.
So Sam reads her letter. There's pictures of her son Harry. Jordy reads a letter. Everybody reads their letter. But the biggest moment, I think, was Josh, who had been trying to get pregnant with his partner, and he does get a photograph of their baby. So he is going to be a father, and he was very, very emotional, and it was a very nice moment to see him like having somebody to play for, and that would be a letter that would get to me if I was like a man that was, trying with my wife.
Yeah, for sure. And you could see everybody was really excited for him, and it was nice that Jordan was right next to him, getting to see that as well. And that's a surprise moment that everyone hopes to get in a moment like that. And it's funny how different it is from when Jervis in season 1 of Survivor found out that he was going to be a father. It was tree mail with cigars, and they were very like the macho celebration of it all. And it was, his wife had a boy. And they were celebrating it, but it was a cute moment, and it was nice because up until that point I felt like Josh was just a robot, so I didn't really feel like he had, like, I knew he had a partner, but it was nice to see, I guess. And go Josh.
Three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Hi, Jelly Donut. Jelly Donut says, "Hi everyone. I have to write an essay about a Shakespeare play right now. Oh my god, ancient Rome is the most confusing thing in the world. Anyways, how's everyone? Well, what do you need to write about? I've read a lot of Shakespeare. So
I've read half of it,
really,
and I don't even know what I read.
I've read Hamlet. I've read Midsummer Night's Dream. I've read Romeo and Juliet many times. I've read Macbeth.
Oh, I've read all those.
Of course.
I just forgot all about those. I did a drag version of Julius Caesar once for an assignment in high school, and that was really fun to get to do because the guys, we only had 6 boys in our class, so we all got to do the killing scene, and we all decided to do it as 80s women, and it was so stupid because I don't even know how it goes, but whoever gets shanked in the end got stabbed with a old cellular phone in the long antenna on top of it. That's how they died. Yeah.
Amazing. I would love to see that on like a VHS tape recording.
I'm sure it's somewhere on a VHS recording somewhere that somebody's holding on until the day that I run for mayor or something.
I still remember I learned 2 soliloquies when I was 12 from Hamlet. And I still remember that this too sullied flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting has not fixed his cannon gainst self-slaughter. I mean, I can go on and on and on.
I could do that for A League of Their Own, but I can't do that for anything for Shakespeare.
Oh, everyone in the U.S. schools usually reads Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, and Hamlet. Yeah. So what are you? Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, pretty similar. I mean, those are the mainstream ones. Those are the ones everybody knows. They are good. I do now remember reading Hamlet and liking it.
Hamlet's good.
Yeah.
Hamlet's juicy. I remember when I first saw Romeo and Juliet, I think I was in grade 5 or 6. Or 5th grade or 6th grade for you Americans. And we watched this 1960s version, the Franco Zeffirelli's version of Romeo and Juliet, and it is so good. I remember I was 12 and I'm crying over this love story, and the nurse was so good, and it's
who would do better in Survivor Blood versus Water, Romeo or Juliet?
I think Romeo. Juliet is a bit passive and let me kill myself because I love him too much. No, girl.
Oh, sacrifice yourself for the other one to try to get $500,000. Oh, I get it.
Kind of what maybe have happened. Is this what happens in the next episode?
Oh,
being paralleled here.
We could. Oh, exciting! I hope I'm the nurse in it.
The next episode. Who am I? Am I what's the friend's name? Played by John Leguizamo in the the Baz Luhrmann version. That's who I am.
Oh my goodness. Oh Lord.
I had to compare the play Julius Caesar to the historical events, and I'm literally going to fail. Oh,
no, you're not.
No, not
you're
at all.
You're going to do great, Jelly Donuts. We believe in you.
Look up the Ides of March and maybe start looking at that. So maybe making a parallel with March 15th and that whole battle that happens. And I would just, that's where I would go.
Teachable Moments by Chantele Francis.
But Ides of March. I would say go to that and look at that that war and then relate it to Julius Caesar. I think that'd be very doable.
I can help you if you need a good title. I just can't help with anything else.
What's the title going to be?
It's about Julius, and we have to compare the play of Julius Caesar, Lil Caesar's Epic Fails.
Okay.
I'm hungry for pizza right now, so that's all I'm thinking about.
I'm so hungry. I'm thinking what am I gonna have for dinner? I'm like, am I gonna have Little Caesar's pizza? I haven't had that pizza sauce in a long time.
Oof.
Prayer circle, everyone. I'm the worst researcher in the whole world. No.
You got this.
Thoughts around this. You could even just put into YouTube or whatnot, like Julius Caesar and like historical events, and somebody else has probably already done it, and you can go and take their what information that they drew their information from and go and do your own research. So I think you would be fine. This is a good topic, I think.
You go, Jelly Donut. You got this.
You got this.
Woo!
I believe in you. And if I think of something amazing by the end of this pod, I will let you know. But I think that you can do it. I'd say focus on the Ides of March, March 15th, and how that all happened. And then maybe, like, I think you would be able to relate it to Julius Caesar. Because it's all based on each other. So
I do not miss any of the homework that you're having to do right now at all.
I like stuff like that, to be honest. I did. I loved making. Well, I was like on the debate team, and so I always loved making arguments and stuff like that. So
I was the captain of the debate team, and I was only the captain because I was the best at organizing things. So I was more organizing the structure and then letting everybody else do the arguments. So I was pretty much like Mark organizing the alliances and letting everybody else take the fall for it.
I've got the Ides of March Rubicon. I can't say that, and that's about it. English class sucks. No. I mean, think about how cool it is. So I went to Italy a couple years ago, the year before the pandemic, and I was taking from the airport. I was like, I want to see the city. I'm going to take the city bus to where I was staying at this Airbnb. And on the city bus, I literally drove by the Colosseum. And I thought that was like the coolest thing I could ever like see, was this like massive structure that housed all these battles that we've read about. And so I think maybe look at it as like a little bit more like amazing that there's a lot of truth in these things, that like these historical events and like what things were based on. Like maybe get fascinated by it, and it might be a little bit less tedious if you're like, oh my God, like, I don't know, Hercules was in the Colosseum? Like, really? Like, no, that's not a real thing. So yeah. I think maybe get a little bit more inspired, and then go, Jelly Donut. All right, so back to this episode. So this is a game-changing cup of tea, because when KJ reads this note, I'm not happy about this.
It's such a specific number. Like,
right?
3?
Right?
Yeah.
So basically, KJ is able to save 3 people from tribal council, so they will not vote, and then obviously will not be voted out. So I thought that it was a bit too powerful, for the fact that there were 9 people left in the game, 3 people that just won a battle back to get back in. I know it's random, but was it random? You know what I mean? Yeah. When they put the like on the teacup, like, do we know for sure? Not really. Like easily, maybe we could be like, oh, let's give this one because it's KJ. Like, I don't know. I just, it's just a little fishy. The fact that like one of the people that just came back from purgatory now get a game-changing advantage that can easily knock out the people that haven't been voted out of the game yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe this is a bit of a stretch for how the game's being played. Especially because we're so close to the end of the game, we need to start knocking these people out, and taking 3 people out is it could be just as easy as, okay, well, these 3 people are not just going to go, and you're going to have to vote against your own alliance. It depends on whose hand it falls into, how strategically it could be used. But I just thought 3 was like 3 is such an interesting number. That's the number they're using for a lot of things this season. And I'm just like, was it necessary? Probably not. But I actually feel like it will end up being a very good advantage to be used.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
just hated the amount of power that it had, though, so late in the game, and that it fell into the hands of Sam. Like, I get it, like, you don't want Sam to get it because, like, it would just be too
yeah.
powerful for her. But I just, like, I think that it's just so late in the game to take 3 people away from tribal council. It just seems, it's like, why are we playing this game if, like, things can just, like, I can just come back into the game. I can just get a superpower that can take me out of the game. Like, it's just, it's now falling a little bit too much on luck, and the people that have been playing this game hard from the beginning can't battle against this new mechanic. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
don't know it's coming. They can't strategize around it. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't like booby traps and you know, trinkets and doodads. It's just like, ugh.
I don't mind this from a point of view of somebody who would probably, if I was in the bottom, I would be very happy and pleased with something about this. But yeah, for the people who are in the majority alliance, it really screws things up. I mean, so the last game that I played, I loved how much I screwed up everybody's plans just by being there, and it was just so much fun. Like, I was like target number 1 from the beginning, and I got to 5th place out of 19 or something like that.
You played another one after the one you won?
No, well, yeah, well, no, this was like the very last one in my husband's games, and
Gotcha.
I was always, because a lot of my friends play, because I've made friends with them over the last like 13 years that we've been playing this game, and none of them wanted to really be aligned with me, and things like I don't care anymore. Things like the getting back in, and random twists and that sort of thing. It's nice to get that, because then you don't feel like there's all hope is lost. Like, I got in because it was an Edge of Extinction twist, and I won my way back in, and then I got an idol if I survived a round, and it put holes in people's plans, and I got like 6 spots higher than I should have, and that was nice.
But that's just one person, one idol. This is 3 people, yes, and 3 people being safe, and 3, like,
for sure. Yeah, I get that.
Much
yeah,
power.
Yeah, like, and it's a lot to give to one person, especially somebody who's not really making an impact on the game
at all. So we have the immunity challenge. So they had to swim. I'm just gonna read what I wrote until I remember what it's about. They had to swim, and then they had to go underneath a net, and then there's a grappling hook for a bag of puzzle pieces. And then
that's pretty much it.
What did they do with what kind of puzzle
was
it?
The puzzle was it a flat puzzle? And it was an icon or something? I'm trying to remember what the puzzle exactly was.
Well, Dave was in the lead for most of this. Then Josh surpasses him, and Josh ends up winning immunity. So he probably got the power from his loved one, his new baby that's on the way, gave him the energy to win. I don't remember the puzzle, though. Still.
Another puzzle.
Oh, well. It probably said blood versus water on it and Survivor.
I could have. I wish I could remember. I didn't take note of it because I just thought the challenge just seems so. It seems so weird to have to like race through this really small obstacle course to just go build the puzzle. Like, they didn't have to do too much about it.
Well, don't you remember though? Sam didn't even get to build the puzzle. Like, she couldn't get her puzzle pieces, and this is kind of bothering me also a little bit. It seems that the last few competitions is very male centric. Like, all the men have a higher chance of winning them, and that's annoying to me as well when we're trying to keep these women in the game, and like, they don't even get a chance to have any power, really. Like, it's just like, it's not meant for them. Like, the fact that Sam couldn't even be in contention, like, that sucks.
Yeah, it was. I just find this whole season to be a little like it's getting very misogynistic, and it's very much about like making sure the big boys win, because we've only had one guy who could be considered like a powerhouse threat win in terms of like physicality, but he didn't even win that many challenges, I think, when David won the All-Star season. And it just would be nice to see some equality. Like, why does it have to be like an over under thing? Why can't, like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I miss some of those challenges where it just seemed like they had to put together a puzzle and it was just a puzzle. Like you didn't have to do anything else in order. I don't think they actually have done this in a long time, but then the puzzles just seem so much harder. So it was like you didn't have to be standing there trying to throw a grappling hook, trying to get the bag so that you can go do it. Like you're in contention with everyone else. I agree that it seemed a little unfair, but Shay did get through, Chrissy did get through,
Sam's
and
smaller than them, though. Like, I think
yeah,
it
but
had to do
she
with the
is.
height thing and like
It could be.
an ability to throw something at distance.
Yeah, yeah, and I would
So
imagine as somebody who's a bit shorter, it would be irritating to not have that leverage for sure because she is the shortest person who's out there, so I can imagine that
I don't know
too. So
how tall she is, but she looks like she's like 5'2". Like she looks small.
I know,
And
especially
so
next to Mark, and I think Mark is like 6'2" or something like that. So yeah, she's a good foot shorter than her husband, and he did pretty
and
well in that
if she weighs
challenge.
100 pounds, I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? So she's teeny
Yeah,
tiny,
yeah,
and like yes, she should be capable of being able to throw it, but she's also like doesn't have a foot on like half the people. So
maybe it should have been like how they do those challenges where you're having to put their arms above the head and hold the bar or something. You have like a platform underneath, so like you're all throwing it from the same height. That
hmm.
might make it a little equal, but then for her, yeah, like the platforms would need to be big enough so that she wouldn't feel like she's about to fall off it too, because
Well,
it
I
wouldn't
mean,
be
if
fair
you
that
think
way.
about it, if she was standing on something that was a foot taller, she would be able to get that because she'd automatically
Yeah,
have that arc, right?
yeah, exactly. They all need to be able to have that, and I mean, yeah, there's a lot of inequality, and it's driving me nuts.
Me too. Now, no surprise to any of us, but Sam is worried that Jordy is gunning for her. And I'm like, why is she so nervous when they have two freaking idols? Use an idol. Just use an idol. I was
Yep,
just like, you don't need to be so worried about it. Like, you get Mark to use an idol on you, whatever.
yep,
And then if you have to Mark use another idol on you, so be it. The cat's
yep,
out of the bag. You lied. Like,
yeah.
they're going to
Well,
find out eventually.
I said last week too, if you play an idol, it usually gets put back into replay. The
Right.
easiest thing they could just do is just walk out,
Pretend. Mhm.
pretend, and say, "Oh, we found another idol, and so we have one for our alliance." And so it discredits Jordy's lie, and you get your protection. Like I agree, use it. Like stop.
Hoarding
I,
it.
I I wonder what she's like in a grocery store sometimes. Like if like especially when we were all hoarding toilet paper. Like what was she like during that moment? It's just the game is really getting to her, and it's starting to get really frustrating to watch. Even like I like Sam. I think she plays a great game, but if I was out there and I just constantly saw the jetting of the eyes all over the place and the like staring you down and having to come and interrupt your conversations, I'd be like, girl, bye. Just calm the F down and leave me alone. I need like 5 minutes.
Well, I think though, if I were playing with Sam, I would be able to manage her a little bit better. Um, I think it would like her paranoia. It was good because it makes you think of other alternatives, but I wouldn't let her go and be darting around and being like, "You're acting really paranoid." Like, chill. And she's like, "I know, I know, I
Yeah.
know, I know." You know what I mean? I think I'd be a better friend to her than most of the people are on that island because everybody's just like annoyed with her and then to talk about her behind their back instead of just being like, hey, like chill out a little bit, okay? Like
Yeah.
looking out for her in that kind of way.
Well, that's nice of you. I'd be turning around if she was following me and going, I'm going pee.
I mean, if
And
she
I
really
do
started to
not.
annoy me, I guess, but
Yeah.
like I feel like I'd be working with
No.
her.
I wouldn't have. I know from the get go I probably wouldn't have, and I wouldn't have worked with her because I would have been like, she is a returning player, like, and she's not a returning player I want to play with.
I mean, I'd probably be keeping her close. I would have probably wanted to play with Sandra and Nina, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
Um, maybe as in a likability factor, Con.
Hmm.
Um, Chrissy, I don't know if I'd want to play with her, but like I think I'd have a good time with her, but I just like I don't trust her keeping her mouth shut. So I don't know if I would be telling her everything that I was thinking,
Yeah.
but I think we'd be good friends. So anybody else that I'm missing that was good?
What about Juicy Dave? Would you play with Juicy
I
Dave?
would not play with Juicy Dave. I would not.
Okay.
I would
All right.
maybe I
All
would
right.
like get something out of KJ. Like I think she needs someone to be playing with to like bounce some strategy ideas off of each other
Yes.
because none of the women seems to have any strategy talks amongst each other ever. They're only talk about who they're targeting among
Yeah.
like about each other. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
So Jordy wants to make it a 4-4-1 split with him and Sam. And who's the split on? Who's the one? KJ?
Dave
Dave? Oh,
or KJ, one of them. Yeah.
it might have been Dave. And so I mean, I think this is a good plan, to be honest. Something to pitch to be like, you know, if she plays the idol, it'll be me gone. If it becomes a tie, then we just vote her out. And so I thought it was actually a very good plan for him to pitch to them so that half the people didn't have to be lying to Sam and Mark. They could easily just be like, to only two of them had to lie to them. And so I think it was smart.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good and protects everybody else from getting it. But for me, I'd be a little suspicious because I'm like, yeah, if it works out in your favor and you survive and you keep going, you have a story to say at the end of the game. And that's a huge threat point as well, which Dave tends to see in Jordy is his threat level when it comes to the end of this game. So it's a good idea, but it's also damaging to everybody else who might want to argue why they deserve the win.
True. I mean, basically, they're watching Jordy build his case to win, and they
Mm-hmm.
all know that the jury loves him. So, regardless of Mark and Sam and their two idols, I'd be like, Jordy's got to go.
Yeah.
It's got to go.
Agreed.
So Josh and Jordy are talking about this, and they do think that they need to strike, obviously, the couple, but they're also worried about Jordy potentially going on a winning streak, which is a very fair thing to be thinking about. So Sam and Mark decide to leave their idols at camp when they go to damn tribal council. I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? Like, why are they not like bring one? Like, and make Mark hold on to it. Like, why are you leaving both of them back there? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And maybe there's more information about these idols that we don't know about, but like from what I know about how idols work, like, and the idols that they have, they can bring one and save the other person. Like, I don't know why Sam thinks that if an idol's played, it shows that she's lying.
It's their paranoia. I don't understand it either because they get voted out. If say so, Mark is shown to have the possession of the two idols on his like little moniker at the bottom of the screen. Mark gets voted out. Those were his idols.
Mm-hmm.
Sam might know where they are, but you know what production is doing back at the camp, digging those up, and it's back in fair play. Those are not Sam's idols if it's just Mark. It's not like he can whisper to her and go, they're your idols now. You have to physically hand over the idol. And she would need to now go out and try and find it again. Take those things with you wherever you go. Like you need that protection. And yeah, I agree. If you have one and you use it and save Sam, you have the other one back at camp and nobody can touch it.
Absolutely. I just didn't understand their rationale here. It was really annoying. And so at tribal, we see KJ. She pulls out her cup of tea with sugar on the side and lets them know that 3 people get to leave tribal. Now, I have to say that I was underwhelmed by this. I just thought it was immediately going to be the 3 purgatory people that she was going to choose to go away. But I did appreciate that it was a little more strategic with what she did. So she picked Mark, Josh, and Chrissy as the 3 people to go away. So I do think that was smart because Mark wouldn't be able to use an idol on Sam. I didn't understand why Josh didn't give Jordan his idol around his necklace. If he's leaving tribal, I was like, why didn't he give Jordan his necklace or somebody his necklace?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure either. I wonder if that did come up though, because it would make sense to do it. And it would just easily help save his cousin for another day. But maybe he was just confident in it, or maybe the time had lapsed. I think, like, I remember when they first started doing this, you can switch the idol, you can give the idol to somebody else. They would typically have a moment. They would ask, would you like to give your idol to somebody else? And then people would say yes or no. And we don't see that anymore, because after we've seen blunders of people doing that, not many people have. Like, Khan is the most recent, obviously the most recent one to do it. So I don't know. Maybe they had that moment and they were just like, you just can't do it because the moment's passed. So
someone either like message me, or I don't know how I got this information, but it was not that actually. Apparently he didn't think about it and he has regret. And I'm just like,
good.
that's all I was thinking about. I was like, why isn't he giving it to his cousin? Like, he has this thing around he's safe from tribal. Like, well, like, even to ask and be like, Jonathan, can I give this to Jordan since I'm leaving tribal? And he'd be like, fair game. Anyways, so he didn't
guy.
think about it. And so I thought it was a good use of the advantage, though, even though I thought it was way too powerful. And they started talking about how Dave would have been out if they didn't do this move or whatever. And so they want to make this new play. And so they start like talking. And Sam says that she's got Mark's idol. She's going around whispering to Jordy and people, and they're all like not really giving her the time of day. Nothing. So with the threat of Mark's idol, even though I think she said to Jordy, I've got the idol, and Jordy calls that out. She said the idol. I said Mark's idol. Like, this is bad news for Sam, I think. And so they ended up voting out Jordan, and Dave is also in on that vote. The only two people that voted for Jordy was Sam and Jordan. And so Jordan does leave the game when his cousin won immunity and left tribal. How dumb. I would be blaming Jordan big time.
Yeah.
So that was that episode. Now on to episode 20. Obviously, Josh is pissed. And that's what I wrote. I'm like, couldn't he have given him the necklace? Like, what the F?
Yeah.
So Jordy is proud that, you know, of the band of misfits coming together to like do this. And I'm like, so he's taking credit for the fact that KJ has a game-changing, like, he had nothing to do with the fact that she used an advantage.
Like, yeah, no, it didn't seem like anybody knew in advance of what it was. And I feel like the vote for Jordan, I don't think was premeditated. I think once they saw how it broke down and Sam started making those comments, I do actually think that Sam probably was able to manipulate them to make sure they didn't vote for her. And she was able to save herself. And Jordan was just the, you know, residual vote that people had to go after. So, but yeah, I don't think he gets credit for this one. And it sucks to see that he's like saying, my band of misfits and I'm the Joker still. You're like, no, like KJ made the move. Let's give KJ the credit for the move. But it's so interesting. I was more fascinated by Josh's reaction. Like, that is the reaction I really expected. And the fact that it happened makes me go, I feel like my instincts about Josh, if I was out there, would be absolutely true.
So for the fact that he is basically blaming Sam for the fact that she like lied about having an idol and his cousin went out, that part?
The whole reaction of like, he's going, Jordan, and they're trying to find him, and he's realized that Jordan's not there and he's pissed off. I get it. Like, I would be mad at too. I would be upset. But like, he's now like saying things to KJ like, you're number one, you're the next one to go. And I'm like, dude, like, calm down. Like, you don't, like, let the game play out. Like, feel your feelings. I get that. But don't be a dick. Like, and you don't need to be going after people like that. I really don't like when people start going after people about making a move, because you've made all these moves and you're looking for accolades. Let that person have their moment. She's not going to have that many. And she has no real resume at the end of the game anyways, buddy. So you're fine. And the going after Sam thing, I think, is finally like a light bulb moment where it's like, you've been blinded by these people for so long. And I don't understand why, because you keep protecting them.
Well, I think they want the shield in front of them. Like, obviously, people are going to go after Mark and Sam before they come after them. So I understand
Sure.
keeping them into the game. Um, but like, did you think Sam's acting was that good? So it was Oscar-winning performances. Like, they keep on going on to really how great her acting was at this tribal, and it's like I feel like she looked guilty as f, and I didn't think that she had an idol at all. I mean, obviously, I'm seeing as a viewer. I'm not in that moment with them, so maybe things are a little bit different, but
Mm-hmm.
she looked as guilty as usual.
Yeah, I feel like that slip in of the, oh, I have a theater background and a law background as well. Like, wouldn't that be something you would like advertise a little bit earlier if you thought that you were that good at that sort of
People
thing?
must have asked her. Like the producers must
Yeah,
have been like, "Hey, like, what is this with your acting? Whatever." They must have prompted her, I think.
yeah, yeah.
So Josh kind of wants KJ out, obviously, because he only seems to want to vote for KJ, but he's not sure if that's the best move. So this is kind of like the beginning of them showing that Josh has a little bit of doubt. So obviously with Sam's vote or Sam staying in the game and his cousin going out, and now like he's kind of rethinking everything. So we see Chrissy talking about Josh, and maybe considering turning on Sam because she's starting to think that it's too powerful and wanting to flush these idols out. And I was like, Chrissy, okay. Okay, Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll let you
Yeah,
be thinking about these things. If you can get this done, like that could be a game winning move coming from somebody that is learning how to play the game and
yeah,
gathering the numbers and taking the opportunity to strike. So I was pretty impressed that she was thinking this way.
yeah. No, it was good that she was.
So we have the immunity challenge where they have to roll the ball up a ramp. Another, in my opinion, male centric task. So they had to roll this ball up this like narrow ramp, and they had to be stacking these dominoes and running back and forth. So if you have shorter legs, you will more likely not get back in time for when the ball rolls down, and you have a shorter wingspan as well to like run out and grab it. So already I knew that a man was going to be winning this
Mm-hmm.
immunity challenge. Go figure. So, what did I write about here? Christy's confessional. They are all powerhouses without all the jewelry. They're all powerhouses without all the jewelry. Why did Christy say that?
I think she was talking about. I think she was still talking about Sam and Mark, but I think the quote is they're powerhouses even without the jewelry.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, you're right. That makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true though. Like Mark is somebody to be reckoned with. Like Sam in some challenges could be really a fierce competitor. So yeah, they definitely are without having two hidden immunity idols. They are
Mm-hmm.
still people that are to be feared. They're good. So, no surprise to me, but Mark does end up winning this immunity challenge. He gets his
Yeah.
dominoes to hit and he wins. So I was like, okay, great. So he wins. He's safe. Now he just needs to use his idol on Sam and everything's going to be good to go. Like, then they're going to get to the final, I guess it would be final 7. And then they would
Yeah.
have another opportunity to win another immunity and maybe use the other idol if that's how things are going. And then they'll be at final 6 for sure together. I was just,
Yep.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's great. They should definitely use the idol.
That
Definitely.
would be a logical way of thinking the game, but maybe they're just too hungry to think logically.
So Chrissy, Mark, Sam, and Josh are kind of talking, and they want to bring Dave back to the dark side, because Dave did flip on the previous vote, but like, who knows where Dave actually stands? So they're hoping that
Yeah.
he would come back and vote with them.
Mm-hmm.
Jordy does convince Josh though to take out Sammy. I mean, he didn't say 100% that he was going to, but from my perspective, I was like, ooh, he looks like he agrees with Jordy here.
Yeah. He's now got. He doesn't have to worry about protecting his cousin.
He's
There's a
pissed.
pair still left, and then stories about what happened at tribal council are floating around. Like they are not sure entirely of what the truth is, but trying to wield like a fake idol and then switching the vote to his cousin, yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd be pissed off and be looking to settle the score now for Jordan too. So,
well, and Mark, though, I think was a bit of a dummy. I don't remember when he said this. Like, was it after the challenge or what? But Mark says, "Well, she outsmarted everybody." Like at some point, like you said, like Sammy outsmarted everybody. I was like, "Oh my god! Don't you dare say that, Mark! What are you doing? Why are you pointing out that it was a ruse? Like you can't. What you had to pretend that you
yeah.
have the idol there, Sam. Like." Oh my gosh. So Mark says that. And of course, now Josh is pissed, really feeling that Sam intentionally lied in order to get
Hmm.
his cousin out, which is fueling his fire even more. So, what did I write this for? So, Sam and Mark, don't worry about it. Oh, Mark says to Sam about don't worry about like feeling like she's a target. Why shouldn't she worry about it? Like, she's very much
He
a target.
I think he also said that too, in terms of like, don't worry about. Oh no, they did say they were going to bring the idols this time about it, but yeah, he was saying like, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. He says it quite a few times. Like he's trying to really prove trust in the people around him that he thinks are aligned with him.
So, oh, right, exactly. And so she's like, "Do you think we have Dave? Like, do you think it? Like, and don't worry about it." So Jordy, KJ, Shay, and Dave are pretty much confirmed that they're going to be voting out Sammy. I was like, okay, this is what I expect. I expected this. So, but Mark is confident that he has the numbers. Why? It's getting so like there's no way that KJ is going to make this move, save some people, have this tribal where Sam looks like a shady person. You're telling them that Sam outsmarted them. Like nobody wants to be outsmarted, especially these
Yeah,
cheesebo men feeling they're being outsmarted by a woman. Like God
yeah,
forbid.
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, we have the numbers." Like, why be so confident?
I think that's just him. I think he plays confident because he wants everyone to feel like he's the one who is level-headed and steady and isn't too big of a threat. Like if other people start getting a little squirrely, if both him and Sam were at the energy level that Sam's at in terms of paranoia, they wouldn't like there would be no doubt like they would be the biggest targets on the face of the earth. But I think he's countering her very
Fair.
well in terms of that energy and just wants to try and maintain it. And I think if he thinks he shows loyalty, then people will show loyalty back. And I think that's a very I never played sports, but I feel like that's like kind of like a sports or an army thing. Like people like your team is your team. Where I was like individual, even when I played like soccer for one season, I was just like, get away from me. Like I'm myself. I'm the star of this damn show. And so he doesn't play that way. He plays very much like we're a team moving together. We're a unit.
But as long as like he's calling the shots though.
So long as he's calling the shots, but people don't think he's calling the shots. He thinks he's okay.
Annoying. So we get to tribal and Josh is talking about how he wants to take control of the game now. And then Dave talking about the fake idol and having no idol and Sammy's Academy Award winning performance. Well, the Academy Awards are happening in 20 minutes, and I do not think that Sam is going to be getting any of those statues.
She's not even going to be getting a daytime Emmy for the creative arts. Like
She's
it's
going to
like
get a
it's not.
Razzie.
Yeah, she might get a Razzie for this performance, but it's not like she's getting anything else for it. It wasn't that great of a performance.
I didn't think it was
it's,
good.
it was just like I have the idol. I have it. Oh, it's coming.
Mark gave it to me.
Mark gave it to me. It's here. It's here. Oh my God, I've got the idol. It's right here.
You're so believable. Oh my God, you're getting an Oscar.
I have it. I have it. I have it somewhere. It's here. It's this. Oh my God, I got the idol. Oh, it's here. It's here. Yeah, it wasn't great.
Not good at all. You were better. You're more believable.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
You are welcome. So Sam does say after that comment, and rightfully so, to Mark, I don't think Dave is with us.
Yeah.
You're right. He's not with you. He just showed you that he wasn't going to vote in the way that you wanted to vote the last tribal. Nothing really has changed since then. So why do you think that he's going to be with you this time around? Me no know.
Nope.
So Chrissy's telling Dave and Sam to flush this idol, like, or telling, Dave, let's get Sam to flush that. Like, Chrissy wants this idol flushed, like, which everybody just does. So just flush the idol and you'll stop having this huge target on yourself. Like, just do it. And so Josh leans to Sam and tells Sam to play your idol. This is after everybody went up and voted. And Sam's like, what? Tell us why. Tell us why. What? You're making demands? You're making demands as somebody giving you a hint to play your idol when you probably have like only 2 other chances to play it? Play your idol, Sam.
Yeah.
And her needing to get a reason why. Like, why? Because he voted you out. Like,
yeah. They were so... I think that's the power of the idol. That was Khan's problem too, was he wanted to hold on to it for as long as he possibly could. And they want to, because I think they want to use it so that they can use it at a point where they both get to that final 5 moment or final 4 moment together. That's where they really see that happening. But the paranoia of having the idol and people knowing you have an idol, at least one idol, everyone's like, it's going to build up to a boiling point. And this is the boiling point. You're right. You don't have time to ask for demands. They're saying play the idol. Just do it. Just play it. Like, even, and then guess what? If he's lying to you, you've learned a valuable lesson not to trust him. But he's playing it. He's telling you to play it because he wants you to trust him. And you're an idiot. Like, well, but it wasn't even really her. It was guilty, Mark.
I think he was feeling guilty for the fact that he had just written Sam's name down, and so he was. I would rather, work with this couple. I've been working with them for most of the game, at least with Mark for the whole game. Like, I don't think I can go through with this. So Sam, I'm telling you this to save you. We'll get Jordy out and we can stay together. I don't feel right about flipping on you. It's basically what he was saying here. And tell us why. Well, why? If someone tells me that I've been working with for me to play my idol last minute, I'd be like, oh, they must have know something more that's going on that I don't. Or they're trying to get me to.
Well,
it's fine. As you said, you now know that this person's not on your side anymore. This guy manipulated you to use your idol, but it's fine. But you would learn that information, and you'd still be in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Target on your back because you just made a bonehead move.
Yeah, exactly.
But no. Like, Mark didn't allow her to get the idol. She didn't think that Josh's warning was enough. Jonathan, it's time to read these votes, and Sam was voted out of the game while her partner Mark had 2 idols and a community necklace around his neck. Like,
I just think that's more telling to Mark than anything else. Like, I think they both wanted to come back to play this game, but it's clear that Mark is more about, he wants the title. He doesn't, like, they even say at one point, like, one of us winning is both of us winning. No, guess who wins? The person who wins the game and has the title. That's the person who wins. Sure, you will get a nice hefty chunk of money in the bank account and have all legal rights to spend it. But if you were, like, you were playing Survivor, like, if you didn't want to win the game for yourself, you should have left episodes ago. And Mark is playing for himself.
Do you think that he wanted to just get rid of Sam so he could have the 2 idols? And
I would not put it past him in one bit. I believe that he would be the type of person that would see a path forward for himself. Because you could see, like, Jordy's getting a path forward without Jesse, and Josh is getting a path forward without Jordan, and Dave had a path forward without Brianna, like, and Chrissy is, like, everybody's getting their path forward without their partner. It's time for the last partnership to drop, and now is the time. I would not put it past him to be like, I had immunity this time. This guarantees me to final 5. And if I can knock out some of my competitors who will beat me in challenges, then I've got a pretty cool route to get to the end of the game.
But the thing, I totally think that that's his like his intention, is that he wants to be able to get further with both idols. I do think that it's kind of his reasoning. But I just wish that they took the opportunity to get out Jordy, because Jordy is your biggest, like, that is who you cannot beat at the end. You can't beat him at the end. So you need to get rid of him when you had the chance, because this could be your only chance, because now everybody potentially could be against you. And so they'll split the votes. It won't be on, they'll put a majority of votes on somebody else that is not you if you win an immunity. And you might not be able to catch him now, because Jordy has numbers. So anyways, I thought it was dumb. I called him an idiot. I was so mad when he didn't let her use his idol or her idol, whatever, Jesse's idol. But I also said, Sam serves you right. I was like, I don't really feel that bad for you. I think that you should have used the idol. You should have. Yeah.
Agreed.
So that's it. Anything else about these 2 episodes that you want to talk about before we say goodnight?
I'm pretty satisfied with both people leaving, because it means that in our draft, our numbers are evening up. You have 4 and I have 3 still. So it's, getting a pretty level at this point, which is kind of nice to see. But I'm just happy that
Jordy is going to win, though.
How dare you? Chrissy is queen.
Chrissy is queen, but I don't know if she's a winning queen. And
we'll
Shay's not a winning queen, I don't think. But I mean,
no.
things have happened. If
Who
you
knows?
saw I won't tell you. So yes, we are evening up, but I think, who do I think is going to go next episode? Who do you think is going to go?
Who do I think is going to go next episode? Okay, so we're at 7. Mark still has an idol. I'm going to go with, it's going to be one of the non-threats. It could be KJ, or I'm going to go KJ or Dave.
Yeah, who would vote for? Well, I don't think Chrissy would vote for Dave. Would Chrissy vote for KJ?
I feel like Chrissy could, because has been voting for people that she seemed to be so aligned with. Like, I'm still shocked that she voted Jesse out. Like, she was protecting Jesse against Croc, and that was her partner. Like, I don't think Chrissy has a care anymore about who she goes to the end with, so long as she just sticks around, which I love. But I think KJ could be a target, because she had that power move, and I think that some of the people, the people that are still in the game that are strong, Mark, Josh, Jordy, and Shay would be wise to kind of protect themselves with each other to make a move in the game, because that was the whole reason for having the Big Boys Alliance, was to have the muscle meat shields to protect yourselves to get to the end of the game. And if we've lost Sam and we've lost Jordan, you're losing your kind of power players now in terms of physicality in some ways. You're letting those people, and Chrissy obviously has been able to hold her own, and KJ did very well in one of those challenges and she got back in, and Dave's just been there. But, they could sneak by. And do you want that?
I wouldn't want that if I were them. Yeah. So I can see that logic. But you guys, okay, so if you are joining us after, please leave a comment as to who you think is going to be going out next and why, and then also maybe who you think is going to win this game. We have obviously our thoughts around the edit, but you're thinking right now it's going to be a Jordy win, or do you think it's a Mark win?
I think it's Jordy or Mark. I think it's one of the two.
That's what I'm thinking. But if you guys have an other idea, let us know. What do you have going on? Anything you want to share?
I don't have anything going on myself. It's just little old me here in St. Catharines, Ontario, where it was snowing. I got to go do groceries at some point. That's the most exciting thing that I get to do right now. But I think everybody should subscribe to Reality Realness with 3 S's if they have not done so yet, and follow on Twitter and Instagram.
Yay! That will be fun. Well, thanks, Ron. I can't believe
Thank you.
we're 20 episodes done. Like we're over
I
the home
know.
stretch. We did good.
Oh,
we did good.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Oh, hold on. There's another question here. So before we go, what are the similarities and differences between Sam and Haley from last season? Haley is intense but still calm, cool, and collected. When she didn't get all squirrely like Sam does, even when she was scrambling and making things happen, there's a different energy I'd say that Haley has compared to Sam. It could be because Haley's an Aquarius. I vibe with her game because I'm an Aquarius, so I'm like everything that she does, I was like, yes, that's what I'd do. Yes, you said what I'd say. So that could be why I really enjoyed her game a lot. But yeah, what do you think about this question?
I think the difference, is that Haley wasn't as squirrely. She seemed to be before she got voted off and sent to Exile Island for the comeback competition, but she was able to also figure out the game that best benefited herself, where Sam, I don't think, was playing for herself. I think she was playing for Mark to get as far as she could. If she was playing for herself, the jury would not be the makeup that it is right now.
That's really a really great point. Haley was always making decisions that benefited her. And she allowed herself, yes, she got voted out, and I never really loved when people get voted out and come back in, but it was the mechanic of the game, so I'm just letting that go and not allowing her to not be a good player because that happened, because she got to utilize an advantage. She got an advantage in the game, and it benefited her. So so the fact though that Sam didn't get to come back in, I think it's just bad luck. So I think Haley is luckier than Sam, and I think that Haley was playing for herself more than Sam was, absolutely, and didn't allow the muscle guys to all work together and take her out. She was able to put herself in a position where she could either beat out people or position herself with people better. So I think that Sam she could have been playing a really great game if she didn't decide to lose her number in con, which I think was the beginning of her demise.
Absolutely. I agree.
Beginning of the end. And yes, definitely. She was way more calm and just a little bit more, people wanted to be around her more than they wanted to be with around Sam, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that question, Joshua. Jelly Donut, good luck with your paper. If I think of anything genius to help you out there,
Go Jelly Donut!
We will send you some on Instagram. I'll send you a message or something if I could think of some way to help you out there. Chu, I pretty much agree with all your points you made. Well, thank you. I'm happy that you do. And we'll hope to see everybody here next week. Bye, everybody. Thank you.